Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Mountain Harmony Gardening. I'm Kristen, and today we're going to be doing some more planting. I wanted to give all of you an update on how the pepper plants were doing. Unfortunately, I've been trying to wake them up for several weeks, and most of them still look like this, and I can feel they're pretty dry, but the one that had woken itself up by itself is doing really good. Look at all these leaves. It's doing beautiful. So I've had it in the sunlight and I've been watering it and it's doing good. So there's a success. And this one's a learning lesson. I think I figured out what went wrong with these. It was the soil. It was so dry that I could never get it hydrated enough to really give the peppers enough moisture to make it through the winter time. So what I'm going to do next year is I'm going to get a better quality soil, and I'm going to buy it early so that we're not left with just kind of leftovers at the end. Plus I'm going to mix in some vermiculite, and I think that will help too. So there's an update on the peppers. Today we are going to be planting all of our tomatoes, our purple tomatillos, which I've grown in the past and they've done really well, agastache, which is something new that I've never grown before, and moringa. Did I say that right, honey?
Moringa.
Moringa. I've heard it pronounced a couple different ways on the internet, so we had to look it up. Also, I couldn't help myself, and I bought another fig. I'm hoping this one will make it. I'm going to try something a little bit different. I think I'm going to put in a pot this year. And then Sebastian just had to have blackberries, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I can't wait to see how they do with the raspberries. They're probably going to do great like the raspberries because they're related.
And also, I had to get some more dahlias. I had Sebastian pick out that mix too. So first, we are going to start with the tomatoes. And I know you guys have seen me plant these before, but there's some things that I wanted to talk about while we're doing some planting, because I've seen some topics come up on the internet, and I just kind of wanted to go over them, and I'm hoping they're not too controversial. Try not to get political or anything like that on this channel. I want it to be a safe place for everyone, and I want to make sure that everyone feels welcome. But there are some topics that as an herbalist, I think that maybe we should go over, because this is something that I learned about while I was becoming an herbalist through my college courses. So one thing I've heard before is gardening healthy for you? Yes, it is. And from my own personal perspective, having fibromyalgia, it gets me out into the garden. Oh, get in there. I think I should have made my holes a little bit bigger. And it helps keep me active. And I definitely need that. I have a job right now where I'm active when I'm there, but during the summertime I'm off, so I need to make sure that I stay active. And it also lowers my stress level by a lot. And I really appreciate that, because I also have an anxiety disorder, and that helps me bring down my anxiety for sure. I think that's probably why I have so many houseplants in the house. During the wintertime, they're my garden, so I enjoy that too. And also, when I was taking one of my courses, it was for, on people 65 and older, and it talked about, not this people 65 need a nursing home, but it did talk about that as people age, what kind of care they're going to give in. And it said that places that have gardens, the people live longer. It gives them a nice space to go outside. You can connect with the sunshine and the plants, and it lowers their stress levels. So that's another good thing too. So if you have, a space where you can have some plants outside, even if it's just a little patio, I would highly recommend it. It just helps in all different ways. I noticed that when Sebastian is out in the garden, he's not quite as hyperactive as he normally is, and that helps out a lot. So I wanted to talk about that. Also, another thing that I know some of the YouTubers are talking about is whether it's sustainable or not, or if it impacts the environment negatively, or just some really wild claims. I know that we probably have all heard plant a tree, right? Well, you're planting a whole entire garden. You're becoming more self-sufficient. You're putting less chemicals into your body, and as an herbalist, I can tell you that's a benefit. You want less chemicals in your body, and connecting back to nature lowers your stress, like I was talking about. I don't see how any of that could impact anything negativity. So I think that planting a garden is definitely helpful. So I would say that it's a benefit way more than would ever be a burden or a negative impact on nature, considering that a garden is nature. I quickly realized that it's hard for me to plant seeds and talk to you guys. I have not quite learned that skill yet. So I finished planting all of those plants, and I'm going to put the little dome on top. And I already have this one heated up because I've had the celery in here for a little while. So this is actually still nice and warm for them. And the next plant that we're going to be talking about is moringa. Did I say that right? Okay, Tawny's nodding yes. All right, so this plant is really good for you, and I've tried to go a couple different years now, and I will put probably at the bottom of the screen down here or something, all of its benefits. So they come in a pretty tough seed, and they're really big. And what I read on the internet, because I had a hard time getting these started, was you actually want to kind of break this outer coating before you soak them. So I'm kind of peeling that off, and it said one of the best ways is a little bit of sandpaper. And since we are remodeling in our bedroom and our bathroom, we definitely have sandpaper in the house. So we just want to do that, and you just kind of want to break through this outer part a little bit, just where you can kind of see the inside. And what this does is it helps the water get in there, and it helps the moringa sprout. So I'm going to do that, and we're going to do 3 of them, because I know I have a friend at work who would probably really like one of these plants, and I've tried to grow them in the past. So I'm hoping that this one will work this time, because I'm actually going to put it on the heating mat. That way the water stays warm the whole entire time, because it's supposed to be in warm water, and I can't think of a better way to do it than on our heating mat. Okay, one more seed to go. Here we go. And if you have like a razor knife, you could also just nick it. I tried that last time too, and this time I'm trying the sandpaper and see if that works any better. But I am not going to give up. I have a whole nother packet of these to make sure that this works. And then all you do is you fill it up with some warm water, and I'm going to set it up by the other seedlings. I'm going to plant the 2 dahlias that I dug up in the fall. You can see that this is kind of what they dried out looking like. And here's the other. This is my little dahlia. Now these are only going to be temporary pots for right now, and I will be planting them in the garden again this year, but I want to plant them here to get them going now. That way they have a jump start on spring, which is almost here. You'll see in the short, actually the short will be tomorrow, and this is Friday's video. So it'll be in the short, and I'll show you what our tulips look like. So I'm really excited that the tulips are already up. I still have the tulip bulb from that short that I did about the plant that I got from work, and I'm going to be planting that in the garden because the soil is workable now. Even though we got some snow today, that soil is definitely going to be workable. All right, to take a little bit of soil out, put it in the other one. And this is what the peppers were in, so I added some vermiculite to the soil to try to help loosen it up, and it did really good. So I think we'll have some good success now that the soil will actually retain some moisture. All right, so I just want them both kind of at the same level here. And you want them at the same level as what you had them in the garden. You can kind of tell where the roots end and then the stems begin on these. So, and yes, I'm making a mess everywhere, but as I told you, this is the only space that I have to do things during the winter time or early spring like it is now. So I had a greenhouse, but it was really, really cold out there during this time of the year, and it just wasn't insulated very good and sealed up really well, so it actually never worked for a potting area anyways. I have always done it inside the house. Okay, now that I have those two planted, I'm going to put their tag in them so I know what they are. I'm going to put them on the shelf. I'm going to put them back in the trays that I had them in before. So they're just going to go down here on that shelf. And next, I want to show you guys the fig that I bought. And I specifically bought this one because it had already sprouted. And I want to make sure that it was alive. I didn't want to take the chance that I would get a fig where the plant was dead. So I try to find the ones that are already sprouting, and I do it that way. So I've got this box here that the dahlias were in, so I can kind of take out some of this soil and add it back in if I need to. Because this one is a lot larger than the dahlias were, and the soil is actually pretty loose around it. So we're just going to dig this down to the bottom and make sure that we have enough space. Can you hand me some scissors, honey? This is a little bit tougher plastic. Thank you. We're just gonna cut this. Alright, there we go. Now I'm gonna try to be very careful when I take this out of here, because a lot of this is actually just soil and not root ball, I'm finding out. So the root ball is actually quite tiny. Alright, but you can still see there's some nice good growth on it. And I'll just use the soil that it came in because it's probably a little better than the soil that I have in this pot. I fill up the rest of this. Oh good, there's some mycelium in there too. So yes, this is definitely better soil than what I had in this pot originally. So there we go. Get that all firmed in, and the mycelium is the white that is in this soil. So you want to see that. It's not mold or anything. That's actually good. You want that in your soil. Alright, so now I'm going to put this in that tray. I'm going to set it on the shelf too. Gotta scoot my timer over. Actually, I think I'm going to set this one up top, just because it's a little bit taller than the other ones. I think I'm going to take my light down, and I'll have to reattach that here in a little bit. Alright, there we go. And it will be fine up here. I will turn on the lights after a little bit, and I'm going to make sure to stick your tag in it so you know which one it is. And then I'm going to give those a good watering in. So you're probably wondering why I didn't use the paper pots that we made in a couple episodes ago. And the reason is because these ones are too tall to fit inside of my little greenhouses, and I really want to get them off to a good start in the greenhouses along with the heat mats. So I'm going to go ahead and let them grow in those for a little while, and then I'm going to be transferring them into here. Now these are perfectly fine to start your seeds in if you have somewhere that's really humid. We are not humid at all here. It is high desert. It's extremely dry, even with our humidifiers going. So I want to make sure that the seedlings stay moist. So I will be showing you that process when I transplant them, and I will also be using the solo cups to transplant the peppers because they're getting big. I know that I had a short earlier in this week and I showed you how big they're getting, and they're starting to get their true leaves. I'm really excited. And I am a little bit behind on these guys. I've had some stuff going on in real life where my sister's been visiting, and it's been so fun. I haven't seen her in a really long time, so we've been going and spending a lot of time with her, but that's okay. These were in like the 8 to 6 weeks, and we're totally fine being a little bit late. But I'm also going to be doing this weekend another large planting that I will be showing you, along with a garden tour. So lots of things to look forward to. A couple of videos back when we were talking about first starting the seeds, I told you guys that there's a way to pre-sprout your peppers and your tomatoes. And since I'm a little bit more late on these ones, I went ahead and just planted them. But what you can do is you can take a paper towel and make it damp, not really super sopping wet, just damp. And you want to put your tomato seeds on that, fold it over a couple times and put it in a plastic bag, and then set it on one of your heating mats. And then every couple of days you want to check it to see if your seeds have sprouted. As soon as they sprout, you can go ahead and plant them, and then that way you know which seeds are going to sprout and which ones aren't. I hope all of you have enjoyed this little bit shorter video where we're kind of just talking and planting some seeds and different things. I can show you what I'm doing in my garden for this time of the year. Also, with it getting so warm outside, we're actually going to be doing some outside chores soon too. So I want to thank all of you for watching as always. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. I love to read all of your comments, and I love a good conversation and when you guys ask questions. So happy gardening, everyone!